to make this crop top with a puffy sleeve and a zip in front. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to start with the front panel. So my front panel is just my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 4. My bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 plus 4 is 11.5. Sorry, 14.5. So that's what I have here as the width. And then from the shoulder, you're going to determine the length you want to work with. So I want this top to be about just 18 inches when I'm done from my shoulder. So you see, I added extra half an inch here to be able to fold this with lining. So that's why my tape is at 18.5. And then at the shoulder part here, which is going to be somewhere like this, from the armhole, the shoulder slope, the neckline, right? So this part here, I want the, so guys, the top is going to, I'm going to take away half an inch here. So that means my top is starting at 6.8. It depends on you. So I have half an inch at the top and half an inch to the top and half an inch to the bottom, so that you can use your lining to turn it. So now the next thing you're going to do is to insert your shoulder to your breast point. For me, that's at 12 inches here. Then your shoulder to your under bust, for me that's about 14.5. And then your shoulder to the waist, which I'm going to use the ending of this cloth to make. So I'm going to mark it at 18, somewhere here. So because my shoulder to waist is 17, but I'm going to use 18 because I want it 1 inch below my waist. I don't want it right on my waist, so I'm going to mark it at 18. Now I'm going to extend all these lines. So guys, after extending that line, the next thing I did is to come in here and mark half an inch on a straight line here. This half an inch here is just my zipper allowance, so that I can be able to join. The zip is going to be in between the lining and the cloth, so and this cloth, so that's why I need just half an inch for that. So I've marked in the half an inch, and then from after this half an inch line, now I'm going to insert my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus 1, so that's 5. My nipple to nipple is 8 plus divided by 2 is 4 plus 1, then 5. So I'm going to also insert it down here, and then I'm also going to insert it down here. So in a straight line, I'm also going to put it up here and connect the lines together. So guys, on this top line here, I'm going to mark 1 inch on each side, 1 inch on each side. So that's what I did here. And then after that, you're going to connect it to your bust point line, right? So connect it to this here, just like that. And then also connect the other one on the other side to this line here. So I've connected that. So you see, mark 1 inch on this side, 1 inch on the opposite side, connect it this way. And then you're going to come down to this line, which is your under bust line. You're going to connect these lines to your bust point line, but the one under bust line, you're going to connect 0.75 on each side. So I'm going to mark 0.75 here and also 0.75 here. And then under this line here, the last line, which is your waistline, you're going to mark half an inch on each side. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I've connected it. And now the next thing you're going to do is to connect the lines together. So connect this one here to the lower line. If you want, you can use your ruler, and then connect this one here to the lower line. And then just like that, connect this to this side, and then bring this up to this side. Just like that. So now we've drawn in our bodies. You're going to take up this line, measure above your at the top of your shoulder like this, from one edge, from your armpit to one side of your armpit to the other side of the armpit. Whatever you get, for me is 14 divided by 2 is 7. So I'm going to just mark that 7, but remember your measurements are going to start on this line, like this line that you marked here, not the fold but the line. So I've marked the 7, but then you know that there's 2 inches removed from this 7, so you're going to go in and put back that 2 inches now. So that's what I'm going to do here. So now that I've marked that, the next thing you're going to do is to place back your tape the way it was before. Remember, my body started at 6, right? You're going to insert your armhole divided by 2. So my armhole divided by 2 is 9.5. So I'm going to mark that here, bring it in this way, and then from this line that I got, which is my the line after adding the 2 inches for this shoulder line, I'm going to bring it down, connect it to this part, and then I have my new armhole. And then at this point now, you're going to go ahead and divide your bust measurement by 4. So for me, like I said before, it's 10.5. I'm going to mark that here. and then I'm going to measure what I have in between here. So at this point it's like 1.2. I'm going to add it back here, 1.2, and then I'm going to add in my seam allowance, which is like 2 inches here. So that's the width of this here. Then the next thing you're going to do on this line also, just the same thing, your bust measurement divided by 4, mark it here. At this point there's nothing to add in because it's just like a straight line. So then I'm going to insert, after that I'm just going to insert the bust measurement plus extra 2 inches, bust measurement divided by 4, and then I'm going to just add extra 2 inches here. And then the same thing coming down to so guys, my waist measurement, I'm going to skip this under bust and move over to my waist. So basically my waist divided by 4 is going to be 8.5. Mark that here. Then take this 1 inch that I marked here, which is 5.5 and 0.5 on the other side. So that's 1 inch. I'm going to insert that back, and then I'm also going to go ahead and add 2 inches of sewing allowance. Okay. And then now you're going to just connect from this edge here to this here, and then from here at the edge here to this point. So guys, you see I'm going to just mark it now. I've marked it now, so I'm just going to cut it out. So guys, first I cut out the armhole out, cut this out, and then now from this point now I'm going to follow this line. So on one side I'm cutting all the way up, just like that, all the way to the top, and then on the other side I'm just going to follow that same line on the opposite side and cut all the way to the top, like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out too. So that is basically how I'm going to cut this. So now I've cut it out. So the next thing you're going to do is, it depends on you the length you want this V to be. So whatever you want the V to be, the sweetheart neckline part of this to be. So if you want it deep up to 8 inches or 9 inches, mark that, and then you're going to just connect it to the very top here. So like I marked 8 inches for mine, I'm going to connect it to this top here. So I'm going to cut it out so that I will have my sweetheart neckline. So guys, now I have it here. I'm going to also split this open because this is going to be where I'll attach my zipper. So I need to open it up. So that's basically it here. I'm going to go ahead and trace this out on a lining. And then for the back panel is the same length. The back panel, the fabric is the same length as the front, right? If you look at it, you see it's the same length. Started at 6 inches, ended at 18.5. on my tape. So that's basically what I have for the back panel. And then after that, you're going to, for the lengths will be the same, but the width will not be the same. So for the back, all you need to do is, because there is no zip at the back, divide the bust measurement by 4 and add just 2 inches to that. 1 inch for the darting, that's going to be half an inch on each side, half an inch on this side, for when you pick your dart, that is going to go straight up this way. And then the other 1 inch is just for the side zip, like 1 inch here is just to, side seam, so that you can join the side to the front. So let me say it again. For the back panel, the length of the back and the front and the back are the same when you cut out the fabric. The only difference now is that for the width is different. For the width in front, we added extra 4 inches after dividing your bust by 4. For the width for the back, you're going to divide by 4, the same bust measurement, but instead you're going to add just 2 inches. 2 inches because you just need 1 inch here for this darting that you're going to pick here, which is going to be 0.5 on this side, 0.5 on this side. Then you pick a straight dart all the way to the end, right? And then the remaining 1 inch now, because 0.5 on this side, 0.5 on this side is going to give you 1 inch. So the other 1 inch that you added now is going to be your side seam. So that's basically it. So, but another thing I like to do at the back is, and then the difference of this dart is also going to be the same your nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus 1. So that is 5 inches somewhere here on this line. So like a straight line, 5 inches from this center, and then you're going to mark half an inch on this side and then half an inch on this side for the darting. That's what I'm trying to explain. And then at this top here, you're going to insert the same measurement you used in front. Some people, their back is wider, so you might want to measure them directly. So let's say I use 7 inches here, the same 14 from the front divided by 2 is 7, right? But then there's 1 inch that I'm going to still take away from my dart. So if I add that back, that 1 inch back here now, I'll just go ahead and insert my armhole, which my armhole, like I said before, my top started at 6 here, and then my armhole is 9.5. So I'm going to just bring this down all the way like this and then give it a curve for my armhole. So this is my armhole. And then for the waist part, my waist is, so for the waist, my waist is 34 divided by 4 is 8.5. So if I mark that, I'm going to also add 2 inches of sewing allowance, which is exactly what I have here. 1 inch for the side and 1 inch for this dart that is going to be here. So that's basically what I need. So I've marked my back panel now. All you have to do is connect it from your bust to the end and then cut off this excess on the side, cut off this excess on this part. There's another thing I like to do for my back panel. I like to bring down the back a little. I don't like to have the back sharp like this and then the lower end sharp this way. So for the top part, I might go down by 2 inches or 1.5. so that when I take away half an inch for my for folding it with lining, it will reduce even more and give me 2 inches. So after that, you blend it up to this top. If you want, you can use your ruler. So guys, now I'm going to cut out this one. I did 1 inch at the bottom, 1.5 at the top. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and cut this out. I like to reduce the back so that the back of the top doesn't touch the waist of my pants, like it doesn't drag down. There's no bust at the back, so if you don't reduce the length at the back, it pulls down and looks longer. So it's always better to reduce it a little, except you want it to be pulling it on top of your pants. So I like to reduce it so it will give me that crop. So I reduced 1 here, reduced 1.5 here. So now I'm going to, guys, this is it here. I've finished the back. So basically I joined the lining at the top and the bottom, and then I flipped it from the inside, like from the side this way, flip it inside out, iron it, and then picked my dart on top. So this is it at this moment. You see, I've used half an inch to join this to the lining, half an inch to join this part to the line. That's why you don't dart it until when you finish joining it, and then you're going to from one side flip it out, so you see the stitch at the top and then the stitch at the bottom. So and then from one side you flip it out and pick your dart. So this is my top, the back is done. So now for my front, I decided, okay, so this is the zip I'm using here. This is the zip you're supposed to use, the one that separates like a jacket zip, one on each side, one on the other side. But I'm trying something different with mine. Like instead of because how you're going to attach this zip is, I'm going to just put it inside here. I'm going to place it inside this way, and then, okay, first you're going to sew the line at the bottom. So this is the end of my top. You're going to first close up the end of your top. So I've closed that up, and remember, you're going to sew this the body first, sew also the same thing on the lining, and then close up the bottom part first. After closing up the bottom part, then you can take this because this type of zip doesn't have that excess here, it doesn't have any excess, so you're just going to place it right at the bottom here, meeting exactly where your fabric is. So you're going to flip it, the zipping side is going to be inside, so the excess is going to be at the seam allowance. So it's going to be like this, and then now you're going to sew on this excess here on this side here all the way to the top. So normally, if you want, once you get to this top here, you cut off the excess and then close up this side, and then once you're done from the side seam, you flip everything out and iron it. But for me now, what I'm doing is, so this is the way it is now. I'm going to take it this way. Use this half an inch that I marked. So guys, I'm going to sew it down all the way to the top here, and then I'm going to flip this zip because I want this zipper design at the top, right? So I'm going to flip this zip and also sew it continuously up to the armhole this way. So that's how I did this one here. I sewed it all the way from this part here to this here. So I'm going to cut off this excess before I attach my sleeve. So this is one side here, and then when I finished, I flipped it from here. So let me show you guys what it looks like from the inside. So you see, this is how I joined it here. I joined it from this part here, but like I said, if you want, you can go ahead and cut your zip off at this point before you close up the very top here. But like you see, I just sewed mine all the way to the top, curved it all the way to this side so that I can have that zip design at the top part. So now that I've finished it, another thing you're supposed to do is to bring it out this way, and then you're going to top stitch it. So you're going to take, if you want, you can do this method, this particular step here, top stitch this here all the way to the top, stop stitch it like this all the way to the end. So now that this is done, the next thing I have to do is just to take this here, and then I'm going to cut out my sleeve. So I'm still going to do this one just exactly like how I explained it now, but before that, let's cut the sleeve one time. So the sleeve is just going to look like this rectangle here. So the length I'm working with here is about 24 inches, but 3 inches out of it is going to be 1.5 to make a casing for elastic here, and then another 1.5 to make a casing for the elastic at the bottom. As you can see, I've done the one for the bottom, and now I have to do the one for the top part. So all I have to do is I'm going to take the armhole of my front bodice, or any bodice that you finish. If you want, you can use your back bodice, because the armhole for the two of them are definitely supposed to be the same. So now you can just take one of them. So you see my sleeve, the two of them are here on a fold. The way it's spread out now, I can just take it this way, fold that 1.5 for the top part here to make the elastic casing, and then just like this here, I'm going to trace out what my armhole is supposed to look like. So just the way I have it now. So make sure you've folded, or at least if you have not folded it, you can go ahead and fold it before you cut it out, so that you can be able to cut exactly what you need. So once I fold it now, I know that this is what I need for the fold. So mark this here. So all I have to do now is to just go ahead and cut this part out for my armhole, and then I'm going to make my casing, pass elastic at the top, pass elastic at the bottom, and then join it to the top. My top is done. All I have to do is just to pass this inside of this here, and then I can just zip it up. But like I said, if you want, you can end yours before this curve here and cut your zip short, and then close up the edge of the zip inside of this. But it depends on you what you want to do. So mine, I want it this way. I want this curve of this zipper at the top. So that's basically it. I've attached my elastic with the shoulder. So you see, it's joined to this sleeve here. So that's basically how you do this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Bye.